This is 7-5 Radio with Walter Yerkew and Peter Scoop Stanton. This is the radio show that will break your neck if your neck needs breaking. And here are the hosts of 7-5 Radio, Walter Yerkew, star of the biggest documentary movie ever made, The 7-5, and Peter Scoop Stanton, who starred in To Catch a Predator.
Well, good evening, everybody. Scoop usually says good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm going to say good evening because it's evening time. And we usually say morning, afternoon, and evening because we don't know when you're going to listen to the show. Not until we put it up Monday and see all the reviews that we get. So anyway, this is Walter Yerkew, your host, and Scoop is on assignment tonight. He is at the Walmart with mirrors on top of his shoes. So filling in for Scoop is our own Heather McBride. And Heather joins me here tonight, and she's right here on the air with me. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Walt. And, Scoop never mentioned to me why he needed the night off, and he invited me to hang with you tonight. But now that I know, he should be here if he's just going to be roaming around the Walmart.
Yeah, isn't that something? It's, especially with the mirrors on the tops of his shoes, he walks around and looks down. He looks down to look up. So
and at Walmart, you never know what you're going to see.
Exactly. I've seen the TikTok Walmart memes or memes, whatever they're called these days, and you never know what you're going to run into in Walmart. Walmart used to be like the Class A place to be, 25 years ago, and it has, it accepts everybody, like Kamala Chameleon's phone book. It accepts everybody. It doesn't matter where you are, where you come from. So I was going to say something else, but yeah.
I've missed being on. I've missed you, Walt. I got to tell you.
Well, yeah, Walmart lets everybody come, like Kamala Chameleon. But we'll leave that one alone for another Saturday night. Anyway, we are here. Welcome everybody listening in. I want to take this moment at the beginning of our show that today is 11/11, November the 11th. It is the traditional Veterans Day. It's marked on all our calendars. It's a legal holiday. It was funny. I went to take my trash to the dump yesterday, and the dump was closed. Okay. But it was open today. So I don't know what the purpose was being closed on Friday and opening up on the actual day of Veterans Day. I don't know. People they want a 3-day weekend except at the dump. I don't know. I guess everybody else is off. They want to be off. But, it was open today. So I don't know if most of the banks, all banks were closed yesterday, or federal offices were closed yesterday. Some people, if the holiday falls on a weekend, why have Friday off? I don't get it. Christmas.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense. Yeah.
If it falls on the weekend, well, hell, you got the day off anyway. So, why just, whine and say, oh, I got family coming in. I got to start cooking on Tuesday because it's Christmas on Friday. I don't want to hear it. My mom didn't start cooking for Christmas until Christmas morning. So I don't know what's changed in the last 50-odd years or so. I don't know what's changed.
We've gotten soft.
Spoiled. Yeah, I was going to say spoiled. Soft is an excellent term. but yeah, you don't start cooking for uh, the holiday until the morning of. And if you are, doing any kind of baking, you would do it like the night before, you know. So, I just don't understand that. Oh, 4th of July falls on a Sunday. I need Friday and Monday off. That's just ridiculous. That's why our country is getting so backwards. In it, we are just out for ourselves, and it's another day for somebody to get liquored up and loaded up and give the police a reason to pull you over because it's a drinking weekend. It should be just the opposite. But anyway, we want to thank all our veterans that have served our country, and rightly so. They don't get enough recognition. There are still too many homeless vets out there, and vets that are in need of services, medical services, financial services, and celebration out to all of them. And I hope we could take better care of our less fortunate vets. My dad was a Marine. I never joined the service. I was just too busy doing kid stuff to realize that I was a grown-up or becoming a grown-up. So I missed out on that. How about you, Heather? Anybody in your family?
So not in my immediate family, actually. I had some uncles who served, but I would say today I ended up doing a lot of driving, taking one of my kids to a football game. And I happened to drive past two separate Veterans Day ceremonies and was so happy to see a good turnout at both. Just a crowd, a lot of American flags. It made me very happy and pleasantly surprised. But then at the very same time, I think your point is excellent, and that is that we spend a lot of money. Our federal government spends a lot of money on, wars in other parts of the world, in opening our borders, and to think that the people who sacrificed so much for this country are getting the short end of the stick it's sickening, quite frankly.
And people like Ellen DeGeneres gets, the medal from Obama Mammy for being a celebrity. What you get, Presidential Medal of Honor or some crap. So, and you got homeless vets right there in D.C. that are down the street, virtually starving. So that's just a slap in the face to our vets. All right, well, we will be back. This is our first break. It's Walter and Heather night, and Scoop is polishing his mirrors. We'll be back right after these words. This is 75 Radio.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
Looking for an IT partner that truly understands your needs? Managed IT Services is the answer. We meet with you regularly to discuss your goals and form a tailored technology plan. Our customers have called us a trusted advisor who delivers. When it comes to IT, we do it all. Firewalls, cloud storage, server migration, and more. Say goodbye to long-term contracts and hello to a team that earns your business month after month. Call 801-706-6980 now and let Managed IT Services transform your IT experience.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to localhoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at localhoneyman.com.
Do you treasure your liberty? Well, at lovingliberty.net, we most certainly do. And we want to help protect your liberty too. Become part of the family. Everyone knows that the core of any society is the family. Therefore, the government should foster and protect the integrity of its family, we the people. Won't you join us as a Loving Liberty sponsor to help us promote the principles in the 5,000-year leap? Let's restore the miracle that changed the world at lovingliberty.net.
You're back, and Scoop is just getting back from posting insults on Twitter. This is still 7.5 Radio.
All right. We are back at 7.5 Radio. It's me, Walter, your host for tonight. Usually, Scoop is the front man, and I do all the backup work. But tonight, I have Heather doing a bang-up job. She did a bang-up job the last times that she's been on with me. And sometimes I'm beginning to think that Scoop and her are the same person because I never have them both on the radio at the same time. Anyway,
now you figured it out.
Anyway, we're going to move up to New York City and visit New York City's headlines of late. There's a guy that lives in Gracie Mansion, is the name of the place where the New York City mayor resides during his tenure. And this mayor happens to be Eric Adams. Eric Adams is a former New York City police officer, detective. I believe he reached, I don't know, was he a captain? I think he reached the rank of captain. I don't know if he made inspector or deputy inspector. I'd have to look that up, but I'm not going to because I don't really care about Eric Adams. He's a Democratic mayor. He beat out Republican. Challenge was what the heck? See, his name just escaped me. The guy from the Guardian Angels. Yeah, Sliwa. I was in the police academy with his sister, and well, enough said. Anyway, Eric Adams, he was a borough president, Brooklyn borough president for a number of years after he retired. Decided to go into politics. Keeps claiming he's an honest man, but then again, he's a politician now. So that you can't use the same words in one sentence like that. You can't say I'm an honest politician. That just doesn't jive with me. Anyway, moving to why we're going to talk about Mr. Adams is that the FBI earlier this week had warrants for his cell phone or cell phones and an iPad that is actually his. The reason for this was that there was probable cause to get a search warrant and seize these items. He was talking at some function, and when he left the function, the FBI walked up to him on the street and showed him the warrant and told him to hand over the phones and the iPad, and he did. Well, he had to, and the reason for this is that there are the FBI received information that Eric Adams' campaign received money funneled from Turkey through American citizens to make it appear that they donated the money, not the country, Turkey. And I mean, Turkey of all places, helping out some guy from Brooklyn to win New York City, mayor's office. I don't know why, but it's reported that, and he admits that he's been to Turkey half a dozen times, maybe more, a few times as borough president, and a few times as mayor. My question is, what the hell are you going to Turkey for? What do they have to do with New York City? Did you go on vacation? You just going over there to glad hand everybody? I would like to know more about the visits. But the campaign money was funneled through. There's proof of that. What the FBI is looking for is if he had direct contact to get this money put into his campaign funds. There's one person that they're looking at, and I don't think they've named that person. We'll have to look into that a little further. And he is quite upset. Well, he's not accused of doing anything wrong. They have probable cause to get his phones in the event because they have proof that this actually occurred. Now they want to know who. So his attorney has said that Mr. Adams has complied. He's even turned over some laptops that he had. Voluntarily without even being asked for. So, I've been looking into this and I've been reading about this, and the agents were asking his security detail questions. They've looked at his travel records, his passports, and stuff like that. As to why, who he went to see. So it's a pretty in-depth investigation. He swears he has nothing to do with any wrongdoing during his campaign. So they're going to be looking into that. Heather, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I'm all over the place with this story. So first of all, if there's foreign influence in the New York City mayoral election, of course I want to know about it, and so does everyone else. I am, as a side note, kind of amused. Mayor Adams had quite a day yesterday. So, and I know that when it wasn't yesterday when you guys are listening to this, but on Friday the 10th of November, just to be clear, not only did he have to hand over his 3 devices, he also beat a $300 rat infestation ticket that was issued to his Brooklyn row house. He had to appear before an administrative judge, and he was able to prove to them that his neighbor's property was the source of the rat infestation. So he still has some juice as mayor, even though he's under the microscope right now. But I'm very intrigued by this because I feel like the FBI has lost so much credibility in the last few years, right? I mean, FBI raids have happened to a lot of incredible Americans that we know of who have done nothing wrong to our knowledge, and have kind of, their innocence has kind of been proven over time. So and then you hear things like Merrick Garland kind of authorizing DOJ investigating Catholics who attend Latin Mass or parents who attend school board meetings. So unfortunately, the FBI, their stock is sinking pretty fast. But my other thought here is that Mayor Adams in the last few weeks and months opened his mouth about the migrant problem in New York. And he broke ranks with the president and with the Democrats, and he admitted that there is a problem. And he advocated for New York City on behalf of New Yorkers who are being impacted by this flooding of migrants and the resources that they require and the housing that they require and just the overflow in schools and everything else. And I think he might be getting punished. Am I wrong?
Well, there's many layers to this onion. A few years ago, he was standing up on a soapbox saying that New York is a sanctuary city. Come on up. Come on, we'll accept everybody. And well, they're showing up, and now he don't want them. So he's stumbled backwards on that statement. And of course, the governor of New York has said the same thing. This is a sanctuary state. Blah 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 blah. Now that they're there, now that the immigrants are there, the illegals are being shipped up there by the busload by governors and mayors from different states and cities. Now they don't want them. So what are these people doing? They say one thing and do another. Well, that's a politician for you. On the other hand, you can kind of look at it as, with all the probes into Mr. Trump, and no matter how much Mr. Trump complied, they always came up with more. Let's talk about that 2020 election that is, still tainted with the stealing of. They're kind of dragging their feet with that one. But this one here, the FBI's right in there. Now it'll show up, and the girl's name that comes up is Brianna Suggs. She was the fundraiser, the chief fundraiser for the campaign, and she's been under numerous search warrants at her home and business. So she's under the gun. And here we go on our second break. We're going to finish this up, and then we're going to move on right after our break. This is Walter Yerkew, Kevin McBride for 7.5 Radio.
Your daily Liberty Newswire. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
USA News, I'm Skip Kelly. An Austin police officer was killed and another one wounded early Saturday morning responding to a hostage situation. The officer went to a house to free people being held and the suspect opened fire. The suspect was shot and killed at the scene. Interim Police Chief Robin Henderson told reporters.
I'd also like to highlight the incredible bravery displayed by our officers day in and day out. I could not be more proud of their heroic actions.
2 hostages were found dead, a third escaped, and another injured officer is expected to recover. Election offices in various states across the country have discovered envelopes containing suspicious powdery substances. Investigations are underway in Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and Georgia, as all these envelopes were received this week. In Spokane, Washington, authorities confirmed traces of fentanyl in an envelope received by the county elections office through an initial test. Meanwhile, Tacoma police reported that the substance in their letter tested positive for baking soda. In California, officials confirmed the interception of 2 envelopes before they could reach election facilities. Uncle Sam still wants you, and you can be a little bit older.
Now's your chance to join the Air Force or Space Force. Both branches of the military are raising the maximum age applicants can enlist to 42, a bump up of 3 years from the previous age of 39. Most branches of the U.S. military are having trouble recruiting, with all but the Marines missing their recruiting goals last year. I'm Corey Myers.
Holiday spending is expected to reach record levels this year, with the National Retail Federation projecting November and December sales to reach $960 billion or more. The NRF credits this to the strong financial position of most American households, forecasting a growth rate of 3 to 4% compared to 2022. This aligns with the pre-pandemic average annual increase of 3.6%. This is USA News.
Hey, here's a question. After you wear your clothes, you toss them in the washing machine, right? Nobody wants to wear dirty clothes. So how come you don't throw your shoes in the washing machine when they get dirty? I mean, come on. Your shoes are touching the filthy ground all day long. Gross. Well, with Skechers, you can. Because most Skechers are machine washable. That's right. Skechers are specially made so you can toss them right in the washing machine and keep them clean and looking new. And when they look new, you can confidently wear them longer. That's less shoes you're going to want to throw away, which means less waste. And it'll save you tons of dough. I love that. Plus, machine washable Skechers are for the whole family, men, women, and kids. So when your kids get their shoes dirty, and we know they will, just wash them. Brilliant. And even our latest technology, New hands-free Skechers slip-ins are washable. You just step right in and go without bending down or even touching your shoes. So give your Skechers the same treatment you give your clothes. Just toss them in the washing machine and keep them looking brand spanking new. Find machine washable Skechers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear happens to be sold.
Wow, you're still listening? Here's more 7.5 Radio.
Okay. We're back here after our words. It's Walter and Heather tonight here on 7.5 Radio with the Liberty News Radio Network. We're discussing the Eric Adams campaign snafu. One of his, apparently her name is Brianna Suggs, I think I said her name was, and she was his chief campaign financial person. And there's going to be some questions. It could be that, the FBI is going to say, well, he's clean. And they're going to say, well, we complied faster than Donald Trump did or any of his campaign contribution people. And, I think it's just, it's funny that it happened, right out of the election on an election day, not necessarily for New York, but it was election week, really. And we're only a year outside of, ousting this character that's in the White House right now. Creepy Joe, Sleepy Joe, whatever anybody wants to call him anything you want. Just don't call him late to change his diaper or get his yogurt for the evening. Anyway, Eric Adams, he says, I did nothing wrong. I have nothing to hide. Everybody's got something to hide. Like everybody's got a skeleton, if not a skeleton, a few bones in their closet. So when somebody says, I got nothing to hide, well, there's something there. Always will be. But they're going to be looking into this, and we'll see how that pans out for Mr. Adams. And we are going to now, we're going to move to the city of Baltimore. The city of Baltimore has had a district attorney. Her name is Marilyn Mosby, young African-American lady. She's barely like 40, maybe 43 or something, 42. She was arrested, indicted, and convicted of fraud of all things, fraud. During the COVID, she applied for benefits somehow or other. Heather, you read about this.
Yes.
You know about this. Make believe I'm a New York City pothole and fill me in.
I'll fill you in, no problem. So it seems that she did claim a COVID hardship in order to access her pension early without penalty so that she could purchase not one, but 2 vacation homes. I believe in Florida. At least one of them was in Florida. You really can't make this up. And so, you just think about what her job was, right? Of all things. We talk about corruption all the time, but she's a prosecutor. She knows the difference between right and wrong. She knows the penalties for something like this. And I think, they got her for perjury because she just stuck to her story. And she made a name for herself. She made a name for herself in 2015. She charged, 6 police officers in the custody death of Freddie Gray, and I believe all 6 were acquitted. So not even a good case. It's one of those. I'm sure there's some people in Baltimore who were impacted by her actions back in 2015 who were probably pretty amused to hear what happened.
Right. It's hard to the temptation Like in my case, the temptation was so damn great, and my documentary will be out early next year. Most people will probably not believe a word I say in it, but the immediate temptation is far different. Now, I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's far different from actually sitting down and saying, hey, this is what I could do with my pension. And I can claim a hardship, and I could get this. And then when she did, she lied about it. She said she did absolutely nothing wrong. She testified that she didn't defraud anybody. But, the government is going to get theirs. It's like a band playing at a dance. Come at the end of the night, if you dance, you're paying them. You got to pay. And she is going to. Now, a question would be, okay, punishment. I mean, it's a federal felony is what she did. So there's got to be time involved, plus a fine. It's not going to be no community service. It's not going to be just a fine or pay extra on the fine and a get out of jail free card. This chick is going to do a little bit of time, whether it's at a club fed or something. It's still inside the fence. And I want to see how the government is going to do this and how they're going to approach this, because it is kind of a touchy thing. I mean, she was an officer of the court, and sometimes people just aren't that keen to lock up and throw away the key for a year or two or three or four. I really want to follow this and see what happens. What do you think about punishment, Heather?
I have to say I find her greed breathtaking. She didn't take out just a little bit of money to cover something. She took advantage of the system. And I think there are a lot of people who could probably use access to their pension fund without penalty, who didn't break the rules. And, I think, I'll be curious to see how it goes. I never like to say what I'd like to see happen, because I don't wish her any ill. She made a mistake, but I do think it's one,
According to the procedural, procedure in law, is what she should get. Any judge can consider or reconsider or, find or reverse the verdict. But I'm really curious to see what, it's like this. If you do the crime, you should, pay the fine or do the time, however you want it, however people want to, let that roll off their tongue. And then, you have people that say, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. Well, justice is what the law decrees, not necessarily what the court of public opinion wants. And being that she is, African-American, professional person, doesn't make her it doesn't make her stupid as far as her education goes. And that's what I say about myself. It doesn't make me stupid that I did something stupid. I still have all the knowledge of everything that I ever learned, through going to school and such like that. So there is some, there is some usefulness. Like when, I went into helping out victims with domestic violence and sexual assault. And, I stayed in social work. No, she's 43, I think. And, she's too young to just be tossed away. She screwed up big time. She thought she could get over, she didn't. But did she learn something from this? That's also the thing that's not in a law book. They could take her in the back room and slap the hell out of her with telephone books. When that's over with, did she learn anything? Is what my question is. But in order to learn something, you got to get burned. You got to get burned, and I think they're gonna burn her, but it's not gonna be a third-degree burn. She's gonna have to pay. I mean, they're looking to put a president of the United States in prison, pretty much, a former president of the United States. What are they going to do with this girl? And if people that read this or listening to this, don't for a minute think that she's the only one. Don't think for a minute that she's the only one that's done something like this. She's one that got headlines about it or got caught. Don't think for a minute she's the only one. Everybody's pointing their finger at her. And that's unfortunate. Holy cow, are we going flying through this or what? All right,
we're
in going to our third break, and we're just moving right along. Heather and I will be back right after these words from all our sponsors.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
My name is Christian Knuckles. I prophesy there will be no revival until the church leadership stops lying to the people. I'm the first soldier of the spiritual body of Christ, the Lion of Judah, the Confederate Church of Christ. I'm here to declare the lion will lie down with the lamb when the lying stops. A message from Christ Kingdom Ministries and brought to you by ConfederateChurchofChrist.com.
Introducing Managed IT Services from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
Introducing PrepStartsNow.com, your ultimate guide to readiness and peace of mind. We offer practical preparedness tools, training, and education to take your family's household readiness to the next level. Browse the prep shop for essential products, check out our planning guides, and stay informed with our prep blog. Visit PrepStartsNow.com and subscribe to our emails for exclusive offers, new products, and future events. Remember, preparedness begins with PrepStartsNow.com.
This is 7.5 Radio with Walter Yuku. Walter Yurkow. Walter Kiwi. Here's Walton Scoop.
Hey, I'm sorry, I almost fell asleep here. Just looking stuff up online. We're talking about a little bit of corruption that Mayor Adams from New York is being kind of suspected of or investigated for, and then we talked about the Baltimore former district attorney who just got convicted on fraud charges, and there's another story that caught my eye a couple days ago, and it also had to do with political corruption of some sort. The mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now, did you hear about this, Heather?
Oh, yes.
Okay. The mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut, his name is Joe Ganim. Okay. They just, had an election. And it turns out that what they're saying, his girl, not like his girlfriend, but his girl. Now, what was her name? Wanda Pataki or something or other. She apparently was caught on video stuffing ballot boxes. She's received, well, the city has received complaints about this Wanda person, Pataki, Wanda Pataki. Okay, I was right. Wanda Pataki. She would visit elderly communities and help them fill out ballots, okay, absentee ballots, and she would stoop, to the point of threatening them that their benefits would be cut off, all kinds of crazy things. Now, this woman, she denies it, but they have her on video. They have complaint after complaint after complaint that she would fill out the ballot, while the person is, telling her what she wants to vote for, but yet she's putting in, her own thoughts on who this person is going to be voting for or what's going to be counted. Now, this I get, okay? This I understand because, we've been having we've been having votes for 250 years almost, and again, people don't think that this is the first time that this has happened. This is ongoing in many places across our beloved country. Voter ballots, threats to vote for the right person. It's been going on for 200 years. What gets me is now, not only does this Wanda Pataki stuff the ballots, but her mayor, this fella, is a convicted felon, from what I understand. Is that your understanding, Heather?
So I had not heard that angle, that he was also a felon.
Well,
Gannon talking about Gannon?
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that. I had not heard that. I had heard about the evidence of, I guess we would call it voter tampering, intimidation, fraud. What confuses me, though, is I thought, and I was told this by the mainstream media, so it has to be true. I thought there was never, ever any example of any voter fraud ever occurring ever. So what's going on here? And if it's happening in Bridgeport, could it be happening somewhere else, maybe?
I don't know. I've been trying, because this is what I heard, and I tried to do my homework. And these are things, something that I heard on the television that I just cannot. Here it is. Former Bridgeport mayor sentenced to 9 years in prison, Joseph Gannon.
Yes, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I see it now as well.
Okay. And 9 years in prison, 3 years supervised relief, $150,000 fine for his conviction on corruption charges. The sentence was imposed by the United States District Judge. Former 5-term mayor in Bridgeport was convicted. This is just unbelievable. In the direction. Me being a felon, I know what I can do and what I can't do and what I shouldn't do and what I shouldn't do. And I get that. I've learned to live with that. I've adjusted to it. It's fine. It's probably not enough what most people think that I should be not having or not doing. But, I might decide to change my citizenship from Tennessee and move up to Bridgeport and run for mayor.
Well, look, he's not the first mayor, right? The mayor, Marion Barry of D.C., was elected after, I believe, soliciting the services of a prostitute. And he has the famous line, the bee set me up. So if the voters want to elect a felon, that is absolutely fine. But the cheating, it's the cheating for me.
Right. I get it. Yeah. You see, it's just, again, like what this district attorney is going to be going through over the next 5 to 10 years of her life. Is she going to learn her lesson and play it straight? There are people that come out of prison or, bad things and just absolutely fly high and succeed, fabulously. And then there are some that don't. Apparently, when I say we, I mean the American public, we're electing these people that aren't flying high and doing fabulously. They just continue and continue and continue. So, and this is his girl, like I said, so to speak. This Wanda Pataki, she's just stuffing ballot boxes and screaming at old people to vote in such a way. So my goodness,
Look, we all need a Wanda Pataki in our lives so we can keep our hands clean. I wish I had a Wanda Pataki.
So and they all have Wanda Patakis. Even Trump has Wanda Pataki. Forget about Biden. He's got more Wandas than you can shake a stick at. And the Clintons, I think the Clintons, they're Wandas for each other. I think.
Yes.
It's just it's unbelievable. Convicted felon running for Connecticut governor. Okay, we got that was in 2018. We know he didn't win, but he ran. Like I said, if somebody can do that when they're younger and serve time and then straighten their life out and decide to be a politician, and hold a public office, and it's allowable in the state that they're in, and you got something to bring to the table and help the people, I don't see a problem. I'm with you right there on that bus ride. I don't see a problem with it. And
I think a comeback story could be a beautiful thing. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But when it's chronic, like the case of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, where he's just continually investigated and it doesn't seem like he's learning from his past mistakes, it gets a little old.
No, again, I'm 100% on board with that. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's the first time I've heard of the Bridgeport ballot stuffing thing just the other day, and sometimes it leaves people flabbergasted, and to each his own. But if you're going to continue to be stupid, you don't deserve to be in that higher position. I mean, here he is. He served time in prison, and now he's the boss of the police force. That's kind of tough to swallow. No matter if it was a violent or non-violent crime that you went to that you're paying for. But it's a little bit tough to swallow in some cases. I mean, not for me. I mean, I'm fine with it. But then you get caught dirty, with by way of your lady, your girl, stuffing the ballot boxes, and they got her stuffing. They got her on video doing it, But when we all went to sleep, 3 years ago, we expected Donald Trump to be, declared the winner by 4 a.m. At 3 a.m. that changed drastically.
Yes.
We don't know who stuffed the ballot boxes between 3 and 4 a.m. So, but they got this chick doing it, I guess they don't have video in Georgia, because that's where the biggest complaint is coming from. They don't have, they didn't have. And, again, I don't know, in closing, I don't know why we don't get a new system or new machines. Seems every year, every 4 years, the same machines, the same breakdowns, and the same suspicions. So anyway, I want to thank Heather real quick. Thank you, Heather, for coming on. That was fabulous of you to
Walt.
take this. And you're very, very welcome. And thanks to everybody here at 75 Radio, the Liberty News Radio Network. This is Walter for Heather, saying good night and have a great week. We'll see you next week.
This is James Edwards for 75 Radio. For those who work the streets and the jails, thanks for keeping us safe. So long, everybody.